Righto, Muddy Miners. We're battling through day 2 of Diggers.
Sound a bit coarse there, Matty.
Jesus Christ, a bit hoarse. Yeah.
Mate, we actually did some good stuff today.
Mate, today was a
ripper
ripper
episodes.
We're doing the intro after we've had 10 beers each.
Mate.
And tell you what, we've had some yarns.
Yeah,
we've
had a lot of fun.
Rippers.
We had a couple Roviras on.
Let's run the. We had the Rovira sandwich.
Yeah, we had Mr.
Tony
Wayne
and Alex
Bramwell.
Rovira.
Which means Azure. AZS.
Azure and Bright Star. We had Wayne Bramwell.
Yeah, Westgold.
We
Yeah.
had,
Ron Mitchell from Global Lithium.
we had Pato from
Great Boulder.
Great Boulder.
Yeah, stuff
I'm too
there.
pissed to even remember.
That was good.
To be honest. Hey,
So it is-
the money miners said, "Can we get Matty to be drunk on
They did.
tomorrow's
They actually-
episode?"
they
So
actually said yes.
I have delivered.
Love it.
Right on, mate.
So we got a couple of people to thank as well. The guys at Anytime Exploration Services. Thanks again, guys.
Seamus Murphy.
Yeah.
Bloody, I'm a bit ashamed of myself at the moment after sleeping in Trav's shed last night. So,
Oh, mate.
Cheers,
I'm gonna have to give you
anytime.
A bloody a key, I think. A shed key.
I think we need 3
Seamus
keys
would have a key.
each. Seamus probably, because he's put that much into his exploration services, he probably has a key cutting business as well because
He'd
he's
let-
that type of guy.
He'd let you in the house anytime.
He would.
And who else? The guys at
that is brilliant. That was so good.
And
the guys at K-Drill.
K-Drill.
All right.
K-Drill.
New sponsor.
They are indeed. K-Drill.
K-Drill.
So, yeah, got good old Ryan O'Sullivan, bloody legend
Ryan
down there.
O'Sullivan
Yeah.
is an absolute GC in the mining industry. He was up at Paulson's running the diamond drilling at my first ever underground job, and
Yeah.
I shared many a shower.
He told me today that he saw you sweating like no human had ever been sweating and needing liquids in you like no human ever needed liquids after a hot day in Paulson's.
Yeah, I had to get carried out.
I was
And,
worried you were going to say after last night.
I think, I had to get carried out of the hole that night.
Yeah.
Not good. Very
Anyway,
scary.
good thing is
Yeah,
Rhino's
righto,
now
buddy.
carrying a bloody team that he's not Matty, but he's capable at K-Drill.
I thought you were going to bring up. I remember a bloke squeezed a pimple on my back in the showers one night, and it was a bit weird. So I don't know if that was Ryan or not.
Should we cut to the good
Shall
stuff?
we rip the show now? Love it, guys.
Right,
Get into it.
let's rip it. Random diggers and dealers chat. Welcome to the Rovira sandwich. We're all. I think. Senior Tony's probably in the best fucking state out of the lot of us. He's better than the sun.
Mate, he's wearing a jacket. Look at him.
How's that voice
I'm
going?
going to dress
Alex?
up for
Terrible.
events.
Rip that bloody. Pull in a bit there, Big T. Bloody get right on it because we've got the
Right,
background
yep.
noise. Right, so Big T, you're setting some pretty high aspirations for your son to follow. You're like, he takes his first MD role, you hit a bloody absolute mother load of lithium. He's like, still the bloody big dick in this family, mate.
Absolutely. Yeah, setting high standards for him.
Yeah. What's going to top that? You're going to have to find a bloody... you're probably going to have to get
The
out
super
of...
pit or
You have to
something.
get out of gold, I think,
Yeah,
or
mate.
find a bloody body
Find some
to-
lithium.
I'm trying.
Got a bit of skin in it, Rovira, or what? Alex?
In this one?
Yeah.
Mate, not enough. Not enough. You can never have enough.
How's the bloody week been?
Brilliant. Really good. Yours just cracked it.
Oh, you be getting. How do you like the attention? Is it a bit like, look, we know
He hates it.
we know how you feel, but
Mate, he hates the attention. It's not for him.
Yeah, just got to stop talking.
Don't we all?
what's how many diggers you done, Big T?
Oh, I had a break for about 10 years when we were operating in Mexico, and they didn't want to know anything about overseas companies, but probably 15 out of the last 25 years.
Yeah, right. And have you mellowed in the maturity
Oh,
of not going
absolutely.
to blow yourself out,
Home-
and you don't
home
sound
in-
like me and this dickhead next to you?
Home in bed alone before midnight.
Yeah, I like the detail. It's a very specific.
Matty would do well just to get in the bed. Get all sleep in
Yeah,
the
so
shed
I
out the
bloody,
back.
I think I've told this 17 times today, but I got lost and phone battery died and ended up sleeping in Trav's shed. And the only way I could find a bed was to suck on me vape, so it lit the light up so I could find it because I couldn't know where I was going. Oh, Jesus Christ. Good times.
Oh, good night. Monday night.
Right, so Alex, I'll let you speak as well because as much as I
Even
don't,
with no voice.
as much as I don't really
Voice is
care.
fucked.
What's the goss, mate? You've been doing a bit of wheeling and dealing too around the bloody traps.
Yeah, mate, trying.
Couple of bloody little things signed, and all while you're on bloody holiday in London, by the way.
And Spain and Croatia.
Okay, mate, calm down. Mate, pretty productive. Yeah, no, mate, we did some stuff with DevX, Ardea, raised a bit of money. Well, yeah, so, mate, it's good to get a few things done, shore up the business, streamline the portfolio and get some work done.
Is all your wheel and deal and capital markets experience really much needed right now when you're trying to find some fucking money off everyone?
Absolutely, mate, the market's that fucking hard. Mate, no, there's no money for gold, so it's tough, mate. Yeah, Well, I reckon that's the opportunity as well. Like, there's a lot of opportunities out there because no one's got money, no one's got capital. A lot of companies are struggling. You know, it provides potential inorganic opportunities.
What's going to be the kicker? Is it because everything's gone down so much, everyone's got their money tied up in shit and they don't want to take it back out to reinvest? Like they're waiting for it to go back up so no one's got capital?
Pretty
is
much,
that,
mate.
is that
Mate,
a bit one of the drivers?
Everyone's been so chopped up, mate. There's literally no real institutional presence in the capital markets for gold equities at the moment. So any capital coming to the business is high net worth and retail money, and, mate, that's all going to lithium. It's all in Azure.
Oh, the big
Mate,
guy.
I'm fucking struggling. I'm on the bones of my ass. And
And the big fella's looking
Can't
after
even
it.
get a mate for
It's
a
$1 billion
dad.
Don't
company.
worry. Food on your table, roof over the head.
might push you in front of a bus soon. Get that
What's
inheritance.
bloody... So explain, Big T, explain what it was like raising this child. Like, let's just go back to the start. What phases did we go through? Was there tweening? Was there some arrogance like you bloody... Did he ever take you on?
Oh, no. There's none of that sort of nonsense went on, thankfully. But
Oh, that's boring. God. Yeah.
but you know, learning to drink when he's like 12 and spitting on himself and
Still hasn't perfected
throwing
it.
up in the back of the taxi and claiming he was car sick. Yeah.
That was last night.
And did, I guess, what's it like being in mining the whole time? And you have because I've got two girls, so they're probably just going to be bloody influencers, hopefully, and make shitloads, and I'll
Yep.
retire off that. Do you always, did you think, right, I'll get a boy, I want to get him into mining, or get him into money? What were the thoughts?
Well, of course, I became a geologist before I became a father. So and I always liked that outdoor life, and it was good fun getting out in the bush and finding stuff, finding gold.
Yeah.
Particularly, it was gold back in those days. And then three boys come along, one by one, and they all they went through school, uni, no major dramas. Get out of uni, all of them did a science degree and also a commerce degree, and all of them went straight into commerce.
So is there any, who would you, everyone has a favourite out of children? There is no word of a lie and you cannot lie. Who's the favourite?
Oh, it'd have to be the one that you're sitting next to at the time.
Oh, come on. Did any of them bloody...
not
so
me.
the listeners might know that old bloody Chisel Jaw next to you is a bloody ex-Western Force player.
Yep.
Once upon a time, used to play a bit of footy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
and what we call footy is
Rugby.
not AFL.
Sorry, rugby.
Rugby.
Yeah, real
it doesn't
sport.
so it pisses me off. Perth calls rugby league rugby. I'm like, it's different.
Yep.
And they can't get it. And I've actually given up explaining it. Tell us about...
because you're a meathead.
Yeah, maybe I just don't explain it right. Tell us about your injury, because this is hectic. I've heard this word on the decline.
Yeah, that wasn't great. So it was probably 2 years ago. I was playing the last match of my rugby career, as it was, and
Who are you playing?
who were we playing? A team called Southern Lions. So playing for a first grade team in Perth.
Yeah.
The Oaks. Mate, got tackled awkwardly. End up shattering my pelvis and dislocating my hip.
So when you say
my-
tackled awkwardly,
Just
tackled fucking hard?
Yeah,
or?
tackled hard. It was a big unit. Leg was in the wrong direction, and
There were three of them.
fucked me up.
right.
It fucked
And
me
they hit
up.
him from three different directions at the
Yeah.
same time
Jesus.
and just
Nice.
folded him
Yeah.
completely.
Did they not? Did you bloody slag him off or give a bit of lip
Oh,
before
mate, I
it
was too
to
busy
burr him
crying.
up
I
or
was too
something?
busy crying.
Yeah. It was
So
pretty
it's
bad.
shattered pelvis.
Shattered pelvis, dislocated hip, and tore my hammy off the bone, or anything around here was just fucked.
Jesus
So I
Christ.
went to hospital, mate. Spent better part of a year on crutches, hip replacement.
Yeah.
Can't run again.
Oh, so you can't run now?
Nah, not run. I can outrun you, but I can't run.
How do you bloody... I will say, from a good man to man, you kept yourself in pretty good nick after that injury, Alex. So, yeah. I was just talking about how much I used to like mine site showers back in the day. So, yeah, apologies if some of my comments are a bit that way. So,
Matty, you're a big rugby fan. Do you ever play?
Rugby league, yeah, second rower. I was like a white second rower with a Maori step.
You went straight ahead.
Just straight ahead, so unco. Like, no ball skills, slow, just got hammered all the time.
Were you fat then too?
Absolute pigeon-toed. Just had nothing going for me. I tried real hard.
The claim to fame you had yesterday was that you were the ball boy to
so
one of
Reg
the
Spencer. So he's a bloody yarn, and I couldn't believe it. I did not figure it out. So because I was waiting to meet Reg, because I get all these bloody emails. I'm like, good to put a face to the email, and we just started talking about where we grew up, and he's like, Inverell. I'm like, what do you mean? That's where I grew up. And I've never put the name to the person, never connected it properly. So he was in the best rugby league team that went through Inverell with, there was Phil Bailey, he played NRL, and they nearly won the whole schoolboy rugby league comp. And Reg was in that team, and I used to be the ball.
Was he the water boy?
No, so I was the ball boy for the Inverell Hawks while Reg was playing juniors. And I couldn't believe it. So we were just hugging a lot. We were hugging it out last night.
Have you seen Reggie today?
No, how is Reggie?
Not sure.
Not sure.
Had a few missed calls about 4 a.m. So
yet to be determined.
I did hear that story more than once last night as well. So I think that sort of speaks to the state of you
I come back
fellas.
within half an hour and told you. How good's I like the bloody Canaccord boys.
Mate,
They've got good vibes, that joint.
Yeah,
Canaccord.
mate, it's good business, mate.
Are they? So Big T, if you're going to get someone to clip your ticket next time you raise, who's the best go-to organisations? Who do you like?
Well, we've always used Canaccord.
Yeah.
Before then, Patterson's. But, Patterson's became Canaccord.
What is it about Canaccord? Like, Jesus Christ, they are going to pay for this. They are going to give me so much money after this conversation.
So they should.
So they should. But what is it? Because I like them. They're all bloody GCs, like McCormack, Hoffy and Reg. Yeah. Absolute legends. Love them. Love them. What is it about? I guess what relationship do you need when you're, raising money and you want it done easily, you want it fully subscribed and bloody whatever. They all take shitloads of money, but what are you looking for?
Yeah, they certainly do take shitloads of money.
Yeah.
They're a big clip off the top. No, with Patterson's and then with Canaccord, it's always been, it's a great group of people to work with, and there's Gavin Waits, who's been representing us for probably
Silver Fox bloody walked past earlier.
Oh, did he? And then, of course, my young fella was with him for a while. So,
I thought I was hallucinating last night because I saw two of him. I didn't know he had a brother.
Yes, his brother's here.
Does he lead at Canaccord too?
Nah. He's too smart.
He's not as grey as Gavin.
Nah.
Yeah,
Tony,
anyway.
I want to ask you about the SQM deal beginning of the year. Were there brokers sort of involved in making that one happen, or the SQM come straight to you? How'd that all come about?
No brokers. SQM just picked the phone up and called me one day when we put some good results out and said they really liked the look of the project. Could they get in?
Did you pick it up first, guy? Who's this fucking prank calling me? Or was it with a private number?
No. It was just they called. I didn't know who was on the other end. It was just a number.
Yeah.
And they explained, this is the business development manager, Louis Bravo from SQM, and he said that they really like the numbers and what we're finding, and could they come and have a talk to us?
They then come up to the site with you?
Yeah, they went up. Two of their geologists went up with two of our geos. They hired a helicopter, flew around for a day, dropping in and looking at all these rocks and the pegmatites that are up there, and came back and said, look, we really like it. Can we invest? And I said, sure. What do you want? And they said, how about $20 million for 20%? Yeah. And I said, okay.
Did the...
that's a good deal now.
For them.
Fuck.
Yeah, whichever looking at it now, far out.
Yeah. So do you have to run
that? A couple $100 million.
Yeah. Do you have to run that one by the Creasy guys?
Yeah, we talked to Mark Creasy about it, and he was very excited to get someone of international repute to come on board like that.
Yeah, nice.
And they've been great to work with, really good people.
Awesome.
What's it like? Like Creasy's such a prevalent figure, but he's you never see him. He's not a podcaster. But he's one of what you call the legends of the industry.
Absolutely,
him and Ronnie Sayers and all that. They are the true legends of the industry.
Yeah.
What's it like dealing with him?
Oh, he's one of a kind, completely eccentric, and you pick up pretty well anything that's going on in modern discussions today, whatever you want to call it, and he's against it.
Yeah, right. So what?
So he's very old-fashioned.
Yeah.
But his word is his bond. Shake the hand, and the deal is done.
Yeah.
And he's just a cranky old bugger, but he's a great person to deal with.
It's funny when you talk about the old school fellas like that. I remember I interviewed Stan Gilman back in the days. He had Gilman Brothers underground mining contract, and his first ever contract was with. He was subcontracting to Piggy Bartlett at Bar Minko.
Yeah.
And he said, like, that whole contract was done on a handshake.
Yeah.
Like, there wasn't this big document. He said, we did it on a handshake. He says, when I get paid, you get paid. And he went 6 months without money till Piggy got paid. And it's like that old school thing.
Yeah, that's good.
That's what a handshake was a big thing.
And nowadays, you've got to have the lawyers in there, and the lawyers are fine-tuning everything. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So what does Creasy, does he get right involved? Like, obviously when
he's very passionate about about exploration and discovery. He loves discovery, and that's what he just wants to talk about all the time. So I go around and see him once every couple of weeks and just bring him up to speed with what we're doing and show him some rocks, and he just loves that stuff. And he's not involved in a day-to-day way. He just wants to be part of the journey.
Yeah.
And how's it that the sort of model he used to have is a 30-70 is the way he used to do things. He's got 40 in this one. Why is that different?
Well, because normally if the way he used to do it was have 30% of the project and 30% of the company.
Yeah, okay.
But he couldn't get 30% of us because he could only take less than 20.
Yeah.
So he said he wanted to keep 40% of the project. And then I said, okay, well, let's negotiate a deal. And he said, no, I'll tell you what the deal is. The deal is the deal. Take it or leave it. And we took it.
Oh, he has
And
the
never looked
power.
Is he pretty set in his ways? Like he dictates things, or is he easy to negotiate with? What's he like?
No, he's not an easy one to negotiate with. Most billionaires aren't.
So has he got the bloody most coin out of the lot of them behind Gina and Forrest? You'd have to.
No, he wouldn't be that much. Maybe.
Was he on the top bloody 200 rich list thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's got 10%.
I think he was. Yeah, he was
he's got
high
10% of IGO,
Yeah.
which is a $12 billion company.
Yeah, he's worth a couple.
So he's going.
Yeah. He's worth a couple.
He's bloody loaded.
Yeah. But he's got 40% of our project, and he's got 13% of the company.
So, how did it come about? Like him having, did he peg the ground first? You guys come in. How did it all work?
He pegged the ground about 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And he just did a minor amount of exploration every couple of years, just enough to keep it in good standing. Somehow held onto the tenement.
Yeah.
And
So is that why the model's so hard to repeat? Because all the land's been pegged ages ago, and because on the surface it seems easy. He's done this heaps of times. Why don't someone else just go out and do the exact same, peg it, vend it into other people? But is all the land out there pegged already, or
it's pretty well all pegged now.
Yeah.
But when he went out and pegged it, he did most of that 15, 20, 25 years ago.
Yeah.
And just held on to it, just doing small amounts of exploration.
Yeah.
And he found a couple of deposits himself. He found Bronzewing and Jundee, the two big gold mines, himself. But he's also had a lot of discoveries made on ground, which he's sold into other projects, other companies.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's worked well for him, hey?
Yeah, what a bloody...
Not a bad model.
I remember Bill, I think it was Bill Beeman's fine in the front interview talking about Creasy, how like the techniques he used to hold on to exploration tenements. I think you alluded to it, because he's got fucking ground everywhere. Like, what's the go? What are the techniques to hold on to it? Like, do you have to put a little bit into it to satisfy the fact that you keep it? Like, what's...
Yeah, you got to put a little bit each year or every second year.
Yeah,
and that's what he does. And then at some stage he will sell the project into another company, and as he did with us, keep a percentage of the project and get a chunk of the company.
Fuck, what are you two going to do when you're rich as fuck if this comes off? What's the aspirations? What keeps you ticking these days?
Buy a big boat.
Big boat.
What do we
Bigger than Al's boat.
You can buy my boat.
Like a Ross Graham sort of one, like triple story, bloody one.
Yep.
Don't go too big because you can't get it under that fucking bridge going into...
Mate, no one takes the boat. No one goes up the river. Don't go up the river.
Don't go up the river. What, you do cray pot season? Do the crays? Where do you live?
City Beach.
City Beach. Oh, no, a bit too far for me. So, but I'll flick you a 50 for fuel.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. How'd you go last year? The crays were bloody... Oh, they were fucking hot and cold. There
Yeah, mate,
wasn't
it was all right. No, we did okay.
Did you do
November,
all right?
December,
We had
yeah,
a
it's
shit
pretty
one.
good.
We had a
No,
bloody
great.
shit one. I bloody hated it.
You obviously shit house.
I didn't. We got shit. Yeah. Oh, beggars can't be choosers because I'm in someone else's boat. It's his spots, and I'm just turning up taking craze for like $100 worth of fuel. So yeah, I can't complain. What about you, bloody Mr. Young, the young gun? What's your you ain't ended up in this MD role because you had too much stock, pretty much, did you?
Yes and no, mate. Yeah, I could see the opportunity.
And did you want to do it?
It was never in my career pathway if I had to give you a 5-year plan.
Yeah.
But the opportunity was there. I had a moral obligation to fix it, to make it work. I had a lot of people in the stock. I could see the opportunity, the King West opportunity. There's a lot of value there at Menzies.
Yeah.
There's going to be so much more M&A in this gold space in WA. Like it's a pretty neat and tidy proposal, mate. For me, like I come in, it's a $20 million market cap with 1 million ounces of gold. We've got a processing plant. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to make discoveries. You don't have to be a wizard. Just do your job. Do the work. Do the studies. Market it appropriately, and add value. So,
What's it like putting all the fucking work into all these heritage surveys, and now it's canned?
it's awesome. Fucking awesome.
How many hours do you reckon you put into that?
So, mate, we've
anticipating what was coming.
mate, for me, 10-ish. We've got 10 hours, maybe.
Oh, that's fuck all.
Fuck all. But we've got a full-time environmental manager, and it's been his job for 2 months.
Yeah,
Literally approvals, heritage, surveys, get everything ready for the mate. We're going mining. Like you have to have all that done. So it's been a minefield, to be honest. And mate, no one knows. Like literally, no one knows what was going on. You talk to this law firm, that law firm, the government department, DPLH.
But apparently, it was in the news today.
Yeah, they've binned it.
It's
They've
done.
binned
Yeah.
It's been officially announced.
But the thing is that what they were
yeah.
bringing in for everyone to do in Western Australia has already been done by all the mining and exploration companies for the last 10 or 20 years.
Yeah.
We've been doing that already. It's only now that the property developers and the farmers have been.
Oh, yeah.
They've realised and they've cracked the shits with it.
Yeah, and that's fair enough because they don't have the time or resources to
No, they
fucking do what it like. As you said, you have one person working on it for fucking 2 months.
his job.
A farmer just can't go and pull some bloody bastard off the street to come and do an
It's
environmental.
Go pay-
expensive.
Go pay 20, 30, 50 grand for a heritage survey.
Well, the only person that was going to win was the consultant in between the mining companies and the TOs.
And unfortunately, the
Like, 'cause
TOs aren't always the beneficiary of it, right?
Yeah,
You spend a lot of money on this shit, and sometimes it doesn't dribble down.
yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
So where does it
exactly
sort of
right.
go from here, though? I can't imagine it's done, and it's, they're going to come up with something new. They're going to have to put some more work into it, come up with something better, right?
Mate, so for us, we'll continue to operate as if it was in place.
Yeah.
So we've got more heritage surveys booked. We'll get a
Because it's
culture.
always a good thing to have.
Mate,
Like,
we'll have-
it's-
yeah,
having a
yeah.
good relationship
We'll have the management
is
plan in
important.
place. We'll
Yeah.
do the work. And then when they flip-flop in 6 or 12 months or 2 years, whatever it is,
You're
we've
good to
done
go.
it.
Yeah,
So I'd rather have it in place and just do it appropriately.
yeah, that's the way to go. Huh?
Is Robbo and Steve-O going to need approval to release this? Your IR company? Like they're like, Alex, why are you going on podcasts with a croaky voice all fucking drinking piss?
Mate, this voice is fucked, by the way. I just gave a presentation to 200 people.
This isn't
and I was
about
whispering.
mining. This is about the Reviras. That's the way I see it. That's the way I see it. What's the bloody... is Mum proud or what?
Probably more of him than me.
No, not at all.
Tell you what,
She's very proud. Very proud of her 3 sons and all the families they've got.
What's it like? Is this a fucking dream? I'll bloody tear up because I'm half pissed. But like, is it a dream to be rolling around diggers with your son?
Yeah,
That'd
absolutely.
be fucking
Oh,
awesome.
mate, we've done a few in the
huge.
past. We've done a few things, but
Yeah, a few conferences and that together. So, it's good to hang out with him.
Tony's-
Makes
Tony-
me feel a bit younger.
Tony's usually scrappy in the gutter with the rest of us, but now it's a $1 billion company. He's got special friends.
Jeez, you got bloody.
He's busy.
This might be the last rogue podcast you're allowed to do. And you're probably not even allowed to do
Mate,
it anyway.
I had to pitch it to him. I was like, mate, this podcast would be great for you. He's like, what the fuck is this? Who's this bloke? I was like, mate, very professional outfit.
But then it's like, is anyone not going to buy a fucking in-demand commodity just because you went on a podcast? If they need it, they'll fucking want it.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Gold. Are you
That's
talking about
my-
gold in WA?
And
Right, so-
Northern Lithium.
BTR's the code. Bright Star.
Bright Star. Yeah, we've got footies.
Mate, Bright Star footies, come to the booth.
Oh, like
Great footies.
Can't bloody fucking knock you for trying, because Jesus Christ, you've been doing some wheeling and dealing. You're not sitting there preserving capital, not drilling. Like you're trying to get the front foot forward. That's what I've noticed. Even though the share price is
what's the program?
Like everyone done fuck all.
Fuck all, mate. It's gone that way.
Yeah,
it's been great.
What's the size of the drill program?
So we've just finished 7,000 metres. We've got an air core program to start, and then we'll probably do another 5,000 to 10,000 metres of RC.
Yeah, okay.
We're going to scoping study will come out in 3 weeks. It'll show essentially NPVs, IRRs, enough meat on the bone for nerds like you to kind of really pack it together.
Fucking peck into it and
exactly
say,
right.
this one going to stack up.
I'm going to tear that to shreds. That
You're talking about leverage, mate. I can stop it.
Just make sure you're putting in the right split set lengths and things like that.
Just for you,
practicalities, mate.
Just for you.
What do the two brothers do, mate?
So my eldest brother works for Chevron.
Okay.
He was originally he worked for Trafigura. He was an oil trader.
Oh, sick.
So he was relatively smart. My other brother works in M&A, private business M&A.
Yeah, right.
Fucking hell, Tone, you haven't produced any dole bludgers, mate. Jesus Christ.
They're both
You know, they say about going to the bank of mum and dad, and I go to the bank of my sons.
Yeah. You should be able to retire soon. Or like, fuck, you will once this bloody thing
we'd kill to get
gets
some commodity traders on the show, but they're the most private bloody people out there. They won't say a single word.
Mate, I got some fascinating insights into Trafigura from my brother, and certainly on the oil trade he lived in.
We'll have a beer afterwards, mate.
Singapore, Geneva, it's the dark arts.
Well, he's back doing the gas trading now for Chevron.
Like gas, mate, it's the proper dark arts.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Rewind back to 2 years ago when you were at Canaccord.
Yes.
Looking at
6 months ago.
a small cap. Oh, was it 6 months ago?
I left in January, yeah.
Oh, fuck. Well, even 2 years ago, like, rewind to a small cap with, say, a few 100,000 ounces. Like, $30 million market cap was considered a micro cap.
Yeah.
Now that's 8.
Yeah.
Like,
Mate,
have you
6,
noticed that?
2,
Like, yeah.
Mate, it's hard, mate. The small cap market's very hard. There's no liquidity. There's no broker support. Like, there's all the kind of retail investors are all playing critical materials. Like, it is very difficult, mate. Probably the hardest I've seen in 10 years.
Well,
even companies that are 100, 200 million bucks and they trade 10,000 shares a day. It's like... Yeah. How does a fund or an institution get any interest in that? Because they can't get out.
And then they accuse for being short, but I'm like, well, no one's buying it, so how can we be short?
The market gets small at the broker end of town. There's no research on any of the guys either. You know who should pay us? I've heard this one. So the ASX, they pay brokers to cover stocks. And that's not a secret. They do that.
Yeah.
They do, yeah.
They should pay us for just talking about stocks and educating the market.
I would second that. That's smart.
In fact, why don't you get someone from the ASX on the show?
Oh, well, that'd be riveting stuff.
We should. I'd have a good few questions for them.
Yeah, mate, wouldn't we all?
Yeah, fucking hell.
We could have and we'll set up a crowd.
Mate, call a friend, leverage dials in. Voice your problems.
Sorry, we've just got 190 MDs on the line ready to ask a question. What about, and this is yarn we've already had, we've had before, Junior, is about using brokers who charge a shitload of money to raise money, but eyes on the stock compared to doing like direct placements to your mates or major shareholders already. What's your views on that? Shareholder money's used for the
I've just raised money, for example, so I've gone through that process. Canaccord with lead manager. Yeah. They did a fantastic job, as they always do. I hope I get kicked back for that one. But, mate, to be frank, I could have done the whole thing myself. But you don't get the eyes on the stock. You don't get the liquidity. You don't get people talking about it. Like, you need, in this market specifically, you need people talking about your company. Yeah. So you need more, like, we had other brokers participating. I had some guys from Euros, Argonaut, Foster's, like guys, like the more eyes you get on the stock, the more kind of people for the company, the better.
And you're giving yourself the best statistical chance of going up.
Correct. I hope so.
Yeah. What about you, Tone? You go by the same
Well, we
philosophy?
were the same. Azure Minerals, we were the same up until a few months ago.
Clipping it and giving back to you. That's why.
We had a couple of big raisings. The only two raisings we've done in the last 3 years was we had that nickel discovery up on the same project on Andover. We raised 37 million, and then we raised 20 million through SQM. So they're the only two raisings we've done recently. But you go back before that, when we were in Mexico, it was hard yards. It was really hard work trying to get money and get results out and get people to like you and talk about you and buy shares. It was really tough. But now you find something cool like lithium and, hey, all good.
Mr. Popular.
Word on the decline is that when you were looking for nickel, old Junior has told you that you should start looking for lithium. Word on the... I've been told
Do
that.
not believe a word he says. Do not believe a word.
Who told you that one, Matty?
Exact words came out of one of your son's mouth. True story.
Tony, tell the truth.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? Now that
Tell
we've
the truth.
discovered one of the world's greatest lithium deposits, every man and his dog's telling me they told me so.
Tony?
Every man and his dog.
Tony, tell the truth. It's just the four of us.
Yeah, no, this is secret. Like, you can trust me. This is off the record now. Oh, mate, I could talk shit for hours. This is great fun. Is this, so, Big T, how would you rate this in terms of professional credibility of all the investor relations podcasts?
Oh, this is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Love it. Can I come back?
Oh, mate, we'll have you
Matty,
anytime.
this is a throwback to the Life of Mine days. Just come back. Matty's
Sinking
backyard,
piss.
got the TV there, the couch set
wasn't even
up.
vaping
He's got
on
the
camera
keg
then.
on the side, just keeps pouring them. And I can just see where the conversation goes. There's no
And
script
the
in
last
nothing.
2 hours are like the highest, 15 minutes of the highest legal risk. Oh, mate. Trav, do you want to chime in? We've had a fucking ball. We've talked absolute shit. I've got to have a piss.
I've just got one question. How is Alex handling being the second most important person in this conversation? Because I get the sense that you're saying
He's actually speechless.
It's fucking shit house. I
mate,
lost my voice because of it.
I'm very curious. When are you going to do something that's worthy of a bit of credit in your own right, rather than piggybacking off your dad's like reputation again?
Mate,
Like,
I'm
the only
trying.
way you get an appearance on Money Mine podcast is, I'll come on with my dad. Yeah,
I'm going to pull you up on that, mate. That's not true. Matty's been begging me for weeks.
and somehow I heard you convinced your old man to man the Bright Star booth at Diggers yesterday.
I did know that, yeah.
No, I just slipped in there because it was cooler than the main team.
I hope some of your geological intellect transferred into Alex,
No, zero.
because he knows how to capture the attention. But I hope the bloody the real bloody gravitas actually backs him up.
If he ever asks me where to find something, I'll show him. Discovery's the key.
Mate, you hire people smarter than you. That's the
Yeah,
key.
gotcha.
So I was getting to the Bright Star booth. It was a bit too busy at the Azure booth. You needed a quiet
Yeah, that's it.
Mate,
Quiet
the fresh
space.
air.
He was literally the only person on the Bright Star booth. Someone's like, mate, I went to talk to you, and your dad was sitting there.
And if someone had come up, I would have given them a good story.
Yeah, give him the pitch. So we've got lithium. Oh, mate, sorry, gold.
Bloody beauty. Bloody beauty.
Love it, guys.
I don't, guys.
All right, that's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap. Hoodaroo.
How good's that?
Righty, so you got to go. I'll give you an example. I'll try and do it. So this is a sort of, picture me not bloody 10 beers deep. It's like, g'day, money miners. Welcome to Deep and O's. We're getting deep into lithium. And if you want to know what's going on in the Bald Hill region, you've got the MD of Global Lithium here to give us some word on the decline.
The Bald Hill
Something
region.
like that.
The Mana region.
I went a bit rogue there. I kind of forgot what I was doing. Something like that. So that sort of intensity.
You can't half-ass it. You actually have to bring your entire fucking...
Yeah, pretty much. You got to
I'll
put,
give it a
you
crack.
got to
And I'll
put your
give my best
family
shot.
on the line. All right, like all in.
Let's give it a red hot go.
All right, ready to go?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, g'day listeners. Here we are, Diggers. We're all firing up here. We've got MD of Global Lithium, Ron Mitchell, here, ready to speak.
You
Talking
speak in
about-
third person.
It's like,
It actually wasn't too
have you seen that Seinfeld episode? It's like Jimmy likes you. Jimmy likes to jump. Yeah, no Seinfeld fans. Bloody hell. Mitcho, welcome to bloody Money of Mine, mate.
Why are you wearing a high-vis shirt? Surely you haven't been doing any hard work.
Repping
Right,
the
well,
mining.
you can see how clean this IV shirt is. Clearly, I haven't done a lot of hard work. We had our board in town as well for Diggers. Got 3 of our board members. We did a site visit out to Manor. We're only 100 clicks
So
east
you
of
put
Kalgoorlie.
the high vis shirt on to try and convince your board that you do hard work.
Well, I was the only one in Diggers wearing a high-vis shirt today, so I did stand out, and that was
I was the only
that
one
was
wearing.
the
It's
event.
about
I was the only
standing
one
out.
wearing shorts yesterday.
It's
Everyone's like, "That's a
peacocking with the
great
high
idea."
vis.
It sounds like us up at Pilbara just wearing the high vis. The only ones there doing it.
It does stand out though. I'll give you that.
So how's Diggers been treating you, Ron?
Diggers been good, mate. Good, really good. We've got a big team here. Obviously, one of the few projects, 100Ks within Diggers.
Oh,
Yeah.
the promotion has started.
So
we can't have
the
this.
interest
We've got to
is
get
fun.
character before you pump your bloody project.
The more
mate.
you promote, the more we'll fucking
We aren't your
dig in.
usual fucking interviewer,
The
right?
more spiff,
Turn
the
off the
more
bullshit radar
detrimental it will
now.
be.
Well, Diggers, this is an amazing event. This really is an amazing event. You get a chance to meet everyone in mining, and that's why we're here.
What's buddy? Right, let's get into the word on the decline, mate. Your region. Global Lithium Essential, Bald Hill, Mount Marion, couple of exploration stories down south, mate. What is going on? Who's going to take Bald Hill?
It's the lithium highway. I'm not going to comment who's going to take that asset. I mean, we've got a great asset. There's a lot of great assets in around this area. This is gold country, but it's becoming lithium country.
When's it going to get taken then?
Good question. I reckon there's likely to be movement this year before Christmas. That's my call.
There you go.
For what
I
to get
like
taken
that.
out?
Hey?
But what was that?
Bald Hill.
Bald Hill.
Bald Hill.
What's your interpretation of what's happening? It's hard for us to be across that, right? Because it's not public. But I mean, you'd be immersed in it more than we are. How should everyone that's following the space be thinking about Bald Hill and how that fits into everything?
Oh, look, I mean, the thing is, there's very few production assets, right? And you think about how long it takes to get an asset up into production. It's a big journey. It's a difficult journey. And you've got an asset that's sitting there that has the potential to be producing and
Is it
putting tons
producing
in
now?
market.
It's
is it producing?
DMS
Yeah.
only. Doesn't have flotation.
Gotcha.
That's
It's
right,
doing it at
yeah.
a very limited scale at the moment.
And the current owners, they've invested serious capital into it in the last few years. I'm guessing it needs a bit more to make it really hum, or what's your interpretation of that?
Yeah, look, I've been on site, but, obviously it's an asset that DMS only, from what we understand. The public available information, I think, is a resource of 26 million tonnes. So with all these assets that haven't been producing, you're going to have to spend some capital to get them up and going. I've got no understanding of the state of that plant in terms of whether we can flick the switch and get it moving. But clearly there's interest in the asset, all the assets in and around this area. This is going to be a hub of the future, no doubt.
Ron, I want to ask you about focusing on Mana now. So the scoping study came out, I think, February of this year.
Yeah.
And the share price hasn't done too well since then. I think there was a few of the assumptions that a few people in the market commented on. That was my sort of takeaway. How much do you think is critiquing the scoping study or the macro around lithium prices and whatnot? What was the sort of reaction you got from that?
JD, could I just butt in there and say you asked that question so politely, you really used your manners?
Trying to, mate. We don't want the guests to run off.
Manners.
No, fair call. It's a pretty tough time in the lithium market. The prices were coming off at that time, but as with all scoping studies, there was a lot of assumptions that went into that piece of work. But what it gave us enough confidence, I think, to get on with spending the real money, and that's the DFS. Yeah. DFS for us is about a $15 million spend.
You're skipping over the PFS, right?
Yeah, well, we will have an ore reserve out in late Q3, early Q4 to underpin, because under ASX we need to announce a PFS as part of an ore reserve announcement. So, but the DFS is tracking well. As I said, we'll look at some modifications with regards to the mine plan, mine schedule, most importantly. But importantly,
Matty reckons it's got to be underground. Is he right?
Oh well, with all our with all mines, all lithium mines, it's all around the strip ratio. So we think the cutoff point to move underground is probably 12-1. We've got some nice grade at depth. DFS will sort of give us the story, and that's underway, and hopefully out back end of this year.
Is there a lot of study and comparison going into when? I know you mentioned 12-1. What that strip ratio is and grade that means it's viable to switch from an open pit to an underground.
Yeah, look, there is, and we're working with it the best. Really, all the contractors we're using as part of the DFS.
And all those numbers are fucking changing the whole time too.
Yeah.
Like development costs and everything. Like that's the worst
Well,
thing
they do,
about it.
and also your assumptions around market pricing as well. That's going to have a big impact. So my view on market pricing, stronger for longer. You guys would know, you've been in the sector a long time, and it's hard to get projects up, even in great jurisdictions like WA. So for that reason, my view is firmly spodumene pricing in particular. We've seen all the majors move to invest in spodumene. Albemarle's doing it, SQM's doing it. So, and we're in the best jurisdiction on the planet to be, delivering these sort of projects.
Who have you got good relationships with? MinRes, obviously.
MinRes been a great supporter. Yeah, sitting on the register at 9.6.
When did they get in? Early?
Yeah, they've actually increased their stake throughout our journey. They came in initially April last year.
Yeah.
Originally a 5% position, and then they built it. We had an institutional placement late last year, and they lifted up to 9.6.
Yeah.
You've got an offtake in place, right?
We do. One partner,
and it's with a Chinese partner. Does that at all limit your your potential flexibility when it comes to? But there's a lot of talk about picking the right partner in lithium at the moment, and there's also a bit of discussion that if you pick a Chinese aligned partner, that you're compromised in some way, shape, or form from the scope of subsidies that are floating about or incentives. Do you see your partnership that you have, your offtake partner, as a limitation for the value potential of Global Lithium?
Yeah, look, that's a good question. I've been doing offtakes in lithium for more than 12 years. If you want to make money in the near term, the next 2 years, you're going to make money out of China. You're not going to make any money at all out of the US, I'll tell you right now. So as much as down in the longer term, the IRA is going to play a really important role, it's not in the next couple of years. So we think China's going to be a really important part of the market. We're not going to do all our deals in China. I think we're going to be diversified as far as offtake goes. But there's really strong interest. I mean, we've got interest from Japan, Korea, Europe, North America, India and Indonesia. I mean, the market is opening up and everyone's chasing spodumene. It's quite amazing. But look, China's still important. There's still really good tech in China. But yeah, we've got our eye on diversification across the register, the share register, and of course the offtake piece as well.
What do you think about ore sorting? Because it looks like, looking at your ore body, you're going to need a lot of ore sorting, like with the internal dikes. What do you think about the technology? You're up on it, waiting for Pilbara chucking it in. It's going to be handy for you guys.
Yeah.
See what fucks up there, and then you can just let them make the mistakes.
Yeah, there's always sometimes with tech deployment, there's a first mover disadvantage, right? So, but we think our ore body in particular is amenable.
Yeah.
There's a really sharp contact between our pegmatite and the basalt and the mafic, which is magnetic. So that's where all the iron is.
Your main load where you got the gaps there, what do those gaps scale to? Like, are you able to separate them into individual stopes? Is it like 2 to 3 metres? Is it 1 metre? Is it 10 metres?
There's a combination, actually. We've got some really big, thick pegmatites, plus 20 metre intercepts, true width, high grade. There's very low iron in those pegs as well. So we think the ore sorting is going to be used on those thinner lenses. So as we're mining, not all the ore is going to go through the ore sorter. It's probably going to be somewhere in between 20, maybe 30% of all the ore mined will go through the ore sorter. Those big, fat, grade control, visual control pegmatites, we can just run those through the ore crush.
Yeah.
There's been a bit of a change in strategy for you guys. It feels like the message since Diggers has actually been, talking about, a DSO opportunity.
Yeah.
And is that a response to kind of the demand that you felt from people who are building the fucking facilities, but they don't have the supply yet?
Yeah.
Right.
There is a real near-term opportunity around DSO, and we've got an ore body that's amenable to it. We've got shallow mineralisation. We've got a mining lease that's in now, an application that's in, so we'll have that probably granted back end of this year, early next year. And we've got really strong interest from the downstream. So if it wasn't for that really strong interest, I probably wouldn't be looking at it. But look, we're going through a process, de-risking. We've got a PFS for the DSO opportunity, and that'll come out probably September. So we'll have a CapEx and OpEx, a full logistics study. So we'll have a better sense of is that a realistic opportunity for the company? I think it will be. But the PFS will tell.
Ron, I'm kind of curious to dig into your background a little bit. So you're a lithium bloody sales guy, right? You were selling bloody concentrate when lithium market was very early stage, very infinitesimal. Why are you the right person to bloody build a mine?
Well, for a number of reasons. Well, I'm actually an enviro guy by background, believe it or not. But I've been in sales and marketing, commercial roles, M&A for best part of 25 years. And it's all about contacts and just building the right team. Now, I'm not the guy who's going to be physically building the mine, but I'm the guy who's going to create a culture to bring in a team that's going to build a mine. So it's about our team, honestly.
But does it annoy you? Like say if your aspirations are actually like, I want to fucking build a mine, but when you work for a small company and you're always, the high probability outcome is that you will be taken out and someone else will build it. But what if you want to really build it? Like, what can you do?
It's a good question. I mean, you can't control your destiny. You can only just get on and sort of de-risk as much as you can. I think that's what we're doing. This guidance I've given the team is just as much as we can de-risk this project. So when we do pitch an FID to the board next year, I can do so with confidence. So, but look, it's high stakes at the moment in lithium. As you know, there's not too many lithium JORC compliant resources globally. We own 2 of only 14 in Australia, and getting to JORC compliance is hard, as you guys know.
I guess ultimately, Matty, like doing the job is doing the best job for the shareholders, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I suppose. But but some MDs, I'm sure, that are really passionate about building a project.
Yep.
yeah,
And when you put all your heart and soul into growing the resource and doing the scope and studies and really like, I want to see this through, which is what I'd want to do if I was in that position. I'd be like, fuck, I wish everyone would piss off and stop buying it, buddy, so I could actually do it.
Yeah.
So Linetown's probably a great example. Like the fact that they've gone through that whole process from 2 cents and they've built the whole thing.
So Ron, I'm keen, right? Take your bloody Global Lithium hat off at the moment, and you sit on the board of the LME Lithium and Cobalt.
Yep.
I don't know what the fuck that means, by the way. But with that hat on, what does the mining world not quite understand about those market dynamics, which are apparent from the purview of that position?
That's a good question. I mean, like, this is we're part of an energy transition, right? And for investors, a lot of investors are looking for risk mitigation. How do we mitigate our risk through pricing? And having hedging instruments like derivatives is an important part of that. So the LME has been established to provide those kind of mechanisms and tools for investment. So they have got a lithium hydroxide futures contract. It's a cash settled futures.
It's still pretty nascent, right?
It is new. There isn't a lot of liquidity, but part of it is building that liquidity, promoting the product. There's quite a few representatives on there. Goldman Sachs is on there. There's a few global traders. Ford's on there. So it's representatives from the entire global EV value chain. But look,
is it the most liquid market for the futures, or is that fast markets?
Yeah, I want to ask you about the new Chinese futures contract that came out just 2 weeks ago and dropped off 15% on the first day.
Yeah.
What do you make of all of that?
Yeah, interesting. I mean, again, there's 2 markets. What you're seeing is a market internal within China and one outside of China.
Yeah.
So the LME is really picking up those external trades. Most of the people, on the downstream side, looking to build a battery business to focus on those high nickel chemistries, for which lithium hydroxide's focused. Lithium hydroxide's harder to producing than carbonate.
Yeah.
It's a dangerous good. It's got that caustic element. So, but yeah, look, these exchanges are going to evolve over time. Liquidity is building. I know the CME is doing a heap of trades. They've got a carbonate and a hydroxide contract building liquidity, but it takes time.
What do you make looking out at the landscape of I suppose, so like Mana, it was a discovery, but it's now past that. It's in study phase, and the market attention is sort of at the stage even earlier than that, but in the names that have more scale.
Yeah.
Like if you were to just opine on what you see the market, where the market attention is, like how do you feel about that?
Oh, look, it's the reality is you move out of, it's on that Lassonde curve, you move out of exploration to development. What I will say about Mana is that there's more legs on the project. Like we're the tenement owner now, so we've had to go through the front door and get the heritage agreement signed, which we've done. We're making great progress with our TOs. But we've got a 50,000 metre exploration campaign ahead of us, and we think we're going to add some serious tonnes to this asset. But look, good on our peers. The world needs more lithium. We need a lot more projects developed, and new discoveries are going to be harder because most of the discoveries in the past have been underpinned on open outcrops. So you've got at-surface targets to which you can sort of provide a drilling campaign. But going forward, the low-hanging fruit, I reckon, in my personal view, has already been discovered. So it's going to be good old-fashioned high-risk exploration for the new discoveries.
I love it.
Should we do a... So if we say a heap of companies and you could give a score out of 10 the probability that they will buy Bald Hill.
That they will what?
That they'll buy Bald Hill.
Aye.
That'd be a good game. Let's play.
Who are the buyers?
Minres. Hancock.
Develop.
Develop into Minres. Who else? Who else could buy Bald Hill? West Farmers.
Yeah, that's a...
West Farmers SQM. Albemarle.
IGO, we tried to get into the goldfields, remember?
Yeah, IGO.
But it'd be their
But they'd have to
Tianqi
do
JL.
it with Tianqi.
Yeah.
Do you think the hype is deserved with how critical Bald Hill is perceived for consolidating that region?
Yeah.
Is it validated?
It was one of the first into administration when lithium tipped, right? So it's not like a fucking standout.
Is it just for the mill? Or?
I mean...
Yeah, well, there's processing infrastructure there. Clearly prospective land. There's lithium pegmatites running through that area, that precinct. So, look, anyone who believes in the energy transition future and has got a position in lithium should be interested in building their asset portfolio, right? Yeah. So the names you mentioned, I'm sure there's probably another half a dozen that I could probably mention, but anyone who's keen to grow their assets and be part of this is probably looking at Bald Hill.
Here's a bloody left field one. Allchem or Livent.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine
I popped
that.
in my head, but I thought that'd be too unrealistic.
Well, imagine if they don't want to leave Australia. They might go the underground feasibility with Mount Catlin, and then they're like, nah, we're going to take the whole region. But Minres have to be in the best position with their minority shareholdings in
that region.
In global, in essential, in develop.
Yeah.
Like they're in the best spot.
And I think they also have a farming arrangement with Pantoro. They might have some other stuff too in the region.
Are they in Lavotto or Lightning as well? Do you know?
I'm not sure.
They're the exploration. Oh, mate, this is the fun bit. Spitball and word on the decline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Liontown's got Baldania down there too.
Yeah.
So there's a bit around.
You'd think Baldania will be either sold or spun out.
Ron, can we do an overrated, underrated, right? All you got to say is overrated, underrated.
This is good.
If you really want to be neutral, you say moderately rated.
So what are the overrated, underrated, or neutral?
Yeah, okay. So
they trading high, trading low.
Azure Minerals.
Nice hits. Yeah, looking good.
That's not...
that's underrated.
Is it underrated? Or moderately?
What are they? They're over $1 billion bucks. They're in the upper echelon, aren't they? No, the hits look great. More to come, I think.
That sounds like a neutral, or what are you saying, Ron?
Probably going to be neutral most of these.
Moderately.
What about long-term? Got a resource yet.
Long-term lithium price of $2,000 a tonne.
2,000 US a tonne. Long-term, under in my view.
Yeah, right. Linetown.
Nice company, nice team. What are they? What's their market cap? I'm not sure.
Linetown.
6
billion.
Yeah, well, a lot of interest. There's not too many 150 million tonne resources out there.
Well,
so
potentially a few $100 million capex cap or something.
I think they've plugged that now.
Have they plugged it?
Announcement the other day with some funding come together.
And they got good partners too. Offtake.
Ron, you've been in lithium a fair bit. So what do you think of direct lithium extraction, DLE?
It's going to be hard. I'm a hard rock guy and I like using proven tech. I mean, it's high risk of capital deployment in my view.
Is that
unless
overrated?
It's proven. Overrated in my personal view, yeah.
Delta Lithium.
One of my peers, yeah. They got a couple of projects, one not far from us, to the north of us, and one up in the Gascoyne. Flano's doing well. Still waiting on the results.
Which one was that?
Is that overrated, underrated? Or?
Good way of
I'll take
answering
a
without
neutral
answering.
position because I don't know enough
Flano
about it.
overrates
Don't want
the
to pick any
publicity.
fights.
What else?
Patriot Battery Metals.
Oh, that's it.
Ken used to be on the LME Lithium Committee with me when he was at Pilbara. I know Ken well and the team well. They got a great asset, haven't they? I'll take a neutral position, but great asset. Got 109 million tonnes.
Okay.
More to come, I think.
Patriots mineral resource estimate announcement.
Yeah.
What was contained in it?
Yeah, cut off, the grade, it looks good. It's got legs, and there's more to come.
What about detail in it and waiting for the technical report, knowing where the high grade is?
Yeah, look, and again, I'm not familiar with the Canadian requirements around their listing disclosures, but yeah, no comment on that one. You tried.
I looked at it a bit.
What about going downstream in Australia?
It's got to happen.
Oh, that's a good
It's
one.
got to happen at some point. It's hard. Like, there's a very clear first mover disadvantage on downstream because these are complex chemical plants. People underestimate how hard they are to build. So we're not chemical a company, you know, in terms of the expertise here. So China's got a lot of expertise. I think the way to do it is through partnership. You probably can see more partnerships going forward.
And what about the IRA? The impacts of the IRA, rather?
Yeah, apart from having a really bad acronym.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I think, great for Australia. Great for Australian battery metals assets, for sure.
Are you saying underrated?
Underrated, absolutely. There's more to come for that.
What about a battery facility in Australia for, to supply the mining industry and things like that?
I think you're probably going to see these hub and spoke type downstream models. I think Port Hedland's a natural place to be able to build this.
Yeah.
Kwinana, as we know, I think the potential for another one at Esperance is probably 300 and possibly even Geraldton. So we've got all the right pieces. We just need that chemical processing expertise. So I think I'd like to see our government being really supportive of that next wave of uni grads. Just call it a battery metals chemical engineering degree. That'd be a great thing.
What about nickel, cobalt, manganese batteries?
NCM. Yeah, I like the tech. It's high performance.
But then
Long
you've
range.
got LFPs that are sort of gaining in popularity at the moment.
Yeah. Look, I'd rather spend the extra money and have the guaranteed extra range. And that's one of the challenges with LFP. It's fine if you're buzzing around the city, dropping the kids off at school, picking up the shopping. But if you want to do a long haul, you need the bigger battery, and that's what NCM gives you.
What about financing mines via innovative ways using your ultimate bloody customer? Overrated or underrated?
Underrated. You got to have skinny. True partnership is when, in my view, a customer's committed to your project more than just via an offtake agreement.
Prepays?
I like prepays, yeah.
Yeah. And last one for you, mate. Niobium.
Watch this space.
Hey, what does that mean?
Well, we have announced something. Manor is those tenements. Talking to our geos are incredible. There is so much going on those tenements. So,
mate,
all I can say is watch this space. More to come.
Your CFO had his bloody gig trying to do rare earths, and we're the first to tell people it is fucking hard.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We don't yet have any. Yeah, no doubt it is hard, but we've got something, and we'll see how big it is in due course.
Beauty. Thanks for your time, Ron.
No worries, guys.
Awesome.
Thanks for that.
Pleasure, mate.
Thanks, boys.
Is this the best bloody IR podcast you've ever done?
Absolutely,
Drinking
100%.
pints, having a bloody laugh.
You're great blokes. We love your content. You got a unique product, and just find out the best way to make a shitload of cash out of this product.
Hopefully, just attach some lithium to it or something. Should be right.
The information contained in this episode of Money of Mine is of general nature only and does not take into account the objectives, financial situation or needs of any particular person. Before making any investment decision, you should consult with your financial advisor and consider how appropriate the advice is to your objectives, financial situation and needs.